from Black Pearl Studios, right here doing it up, making sure that we are talking about politics from the left side of things. I hope you had a fantastic week. I did. I had a chance last night to drive up to the region and work with John Zodi and the rest of the Indiana Democratic staff so we could talk to people about what should be on our platform. It was a great turnout. We had people from both Lake County, Elkhart County, St. Joe County, Porter County, LaPorte County. So there were people showing up from all over. There were people who were interested in running for office who showed up. There were a lot of congressional candidates. I think I met at least 4, plus some that I already knew that are wanting to run in both 1 and 2. So I'm telling you what, the primary season for congressional candidates is hot in Northwest Indiana. So you guys find out who they are. You know I booked a few of them on the show. I wouldn't be Indiana's own if I didn't get them booked, right? So you know I'm going to be bringing you some of those folks so that you can get acquainted with them and try to help if they are speaking to you and talking your language. That way you can find a way to help them out because 1 is important. We want to make sure that we hold on to that particular congressional seat. And if we can flip 2, oh my God, that would be great. I mean, I want to flip a whole bunch more. I want to flip 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep 1 and 7 as they are. All right, so you know me, I got a little rant, and I promise I won't take too long with it this time. But I would be remiss if I didn't address the governor's State of the State Union that he delivered just the other day. I believe it was Tuesday night he delivered. And again, I liken it to the legislative conference I went to back in November 4th, and he was talking about things and expressing things, and I really wasn't exactly sure which state he was talking about. I know that he says he's the Indiana governor, but maybe he's talking about, I don't know, Connecticut. I don't know. I can't quite figure out who he's referring to. One of the things he said he wants to tackle is health care. Now, who doesn't want to tackle healthcare? Healthcare seems to be the biggest issue on everyone's mind because, you know what? I tell you, I learned something last night. I don't mean to flip gears like that. Y'all know my ADD is real. I was listening to union folks last night. And a lot of union folk, you know, I know a lot of the argument is, well, union people have been negotiating for their health insurance. You know, they want to keep it. So Medicare for all can't work because it would, you know, kick union people who worked hard to negotiate for their insurance. But the thing that I heard up in the North region yesterday that was profound was one of the things union people would like to not have to worry about anymore is their insurance. So yes, they have actually negotiated for it, but if they could take that out of the negotiating tool, that it would make them much happier. They don't want to have to renegotiate their health care every year. I thought that was an interesting point, an interesting takeaway from the event last night. But that's one of the things that you know, the governor says he wants to work on. We shall see. He also announced a couple of job placements that were supposed to be happening and some things that are going down. And he said that there'll be some new jobs coming. Okay. He talked about our employment rate was down to 3.5. That's because people working 2 jobs, because the pay rate has been very stagnant. And he wanted to tout how these were high paying jobs and these were great opportunities for Hoosiers. But here's the problem. Here's the real problem with that. A lot of the employees that these businesses will have will be imported. Please trust, know, and believe this is what's going to happen. They're going to be imported. Yes, there will be some opportunities for Hoosiers to obtain jobs, but a lot of times when they're looking for those high-paying jobs or they already have high-paying jobs, they're going to bring a lot of those folks with them. But here's the other issue. He talked about teacher pay. Now, he's kicking the can down the hill again to 2021, assuming he's going to win. I don't know what makes him think he's going to win. I mean, he has to fight for it. He's going to have to work for it. You can't just kick something down the hill thinking you're going to automatically win. I got a problem with that. But the thing is, teachers, he is neglecting you once again. He is making you promises that obviously he can't convince his GOP-led supermajority state house to fall in line with. Just yesterday, in the State House. Both a House bill present and a Senate bill presented were both shot down. I'm sorry, there were two Senate bills shot down by the GOP to somehow or another give a pay raise to our teachers. Now, I know you guys are like, well, you know, where are we going to get the money from? A one-time payment, what does that do? Blah, 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 blah. Listen, our teachers were down at the State House begging, literally begging in red, please, please, we're even wearing your Republican colors. Could you please see us and give us a raise? I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how many more you all are going to continue to believe that Governor Holcomb has any influence over that supermajority to make sure that our teachers are going to get paid. He's making promises he just isn't able to keep because he has no influence, and I'll say it again, absolutely zero influence on that State House. If he had some influence, our teachers would have been taken care of the first time he promised it 3 years ago when he was running for office. Hello. Teachers are still waiting on that pay raise. Teachers, I'm going to ask you, how long are you going to continue to work and believe in this man? He has let you down year after year after year, and many of my teachers are still voting against their interests. Many of my teachers are still voting against their interests. And I understand that no one is a single issue candidate, a single issue voter. I recognize that. But when it comes to your personal economics and your family's personal growth, or when people have to leave the industry and leave the teaching profession or go somewhere else, leave Indiana so they can have a living wage while teaching, that speaks volumes. So when you're not making enough money, it can't help your health care. You're not going to have affordable health care because you're going to be broke. And all these wonderful jobs that we want to fill, these high-paying jobs, high-skilled jobs, who's going to actually teach our Hoosiers, the young children, to get them ready to go to post-secondary education to get prepared for these jobs? See, it all connected dots, y'all. If you are not taking care of pre-K through primary and secondary education, we will not have a workforce that can accommodate these so-called high-paying jobs. Now, I understand that they want to take some of that surplus, that over $2.3 billion surplus, and do some work on our university buildings. I'm not saying universities in Indiana couldn't use some construction help. But which students will that be helping? Which students? It won't be Hoosier students, because Hoosier students will have a hard time getting into our amazing colleges and universities because they're not being prepped the right way. I'm just saying, if you continue to disenfranchise the teachers, the mind molders, the cultivators of ingenuity in our state, if you continue to marginalize them, we will not have a workforce capable of handling the jobs that he says he's bringing in. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not too terribly convinced that the jobs that are coming here will benefit Hoosiers in the way that he says it was. Yes, it'll increase the tax base, but I have a hard time believing that. He talked about infrastructure. I thought that was hilarious because he talked about walkways and waterways. I'm sorry, are you taking care of our electrical grid? No, you're not. Are you taking care of our clean and wastewater infrastructure? No, you're not. But that's okay. We'll have some, listen, I am all down for cultural trails and great places to ride our bikes if I could afford one. I enjoy those things just as much as anybody else. But if we don't take care of the basics, that means taking care of the people who are teaching our children, to prepare them to be leaders in our nation. If we're not taking care of our basic infrastructure like clean water, I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, Green Party, call it what you wanna. If you don't have clean water, it really doesn't matter. We need to talk about clean air. He hasn't talked about that. And the fact that we have defunded Amtrak from Chicago to Indianapolis and back. Come on, y'all. Chicago, the third largest city, we don't want to go up there anymore. We just want everybody to be on 65 or fly. Is that what okay. I'm just saying options are real. But listen, you guys can continue to believe in what he's talking about if you like. I'm not a fan. I'm not buying it. I want to change in 2020. You guys can wait and hope and pray for 2021 to have something happen. I don't believe it's going to happen. So, all right, that's my rant. So you know what, y'all? I love new candidates and first-time candidates and people who said, you know what, enough of the okey doke. I want to get involved. I want to do this thing. I want to put myself out there. I'm going to run a race. No matter how I run it, I'm going to learn how to do it and do it right. Yo, welcome to the show. I have Angela Elliott, who is running in House District 93. And I also have Nick White, who is running in Senate District, which seems to be a hotly contested district, Senate District 30. Welcome to Turn Left, guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Doing good, thanks.
Okay, before we get started on who you are, did either of you guys get a chance to check out the State of the State? If you didn't, that's fine, because, you know, I don't listen to them until the day after anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You did? You checked? What were your thoughts?
I'm a public school teacher.
Oh, okay.
Wait, hey, I think it's obvious, right?
Tell the people. You're a school teacher. Tell them.
Right. I teach public high school, Beech Grove High School. Before my teaching career that started 3 years ago, I worked a decade in news, journalism, TV. My last gig was at CBS 4.
All of a sudden, I'm feeling self-conscious. But go ahead.
No, we'll do an audit here.
Oh, no.
So I teach broadcasting now. Before that, I was an EP at CBS 4, Fox 59. And before that, Chicago, Austin, Texas, and started my career at Wish TV. So moved around a little bit, got some perspective, and then now I'm teaching it.
So what made you just, now listen, you're obviously a smart man, you've been involved in the news, and you know what's going on. What made you decide to get into teaching, knowing that, you know, that's a struggling profession, unfortunately?
My teaching story is one of voluntold.
Oh.
Truly, my mom was a volunteer at all the schools when I grew up. My grandmother was a career teacher. My aunt's a career teacher. Cousins, career teachers. I never imagined that I'd be in the classroom full time ever. But I'm on the tennis court with a friend in broadcasting. He gets a call from Mark Janes, the voice of IndyCar. So you'll listen. You'll listen.
Yeah.
And it's a couple days after Christmas, and they say our broadcasting teacher just left Beech Grove High School. Do you know anybody that can fill in? And I had just left TV 3 months before, and I'm consulting, trying to build my own shop.
Right.
And he said, yeah, I got somebody that can do it. And I said, I don't think so. I don't know. And went in, told him I'd give him a semester, and here we are 3.5 years later.
Wow, right? Congratulations.
Yeah, no, you start to care.
And so when you're listening to the governor say, in 2021, because your bills will wait until then, teachers, 2021, I will address the teacher pay issue. What goes through your mind when you hear that?
That you sigh and you shake your head. Just like everybody. Look, 20,000 plus of us marched on the State House, and I announced my candidacy the next day.
Wow.
Because the message was loud that day, but I'm going to walk in there for Democrats, for teachers, for students, most importantly.
Over 100,000 public school students.
And there's no better message we can send than to send a teacher into that room and say enough is enough.
Absolutely. That's the big, it's almost like, he talked about how his mother was a teacher.
Right.
Apparently he didn't like his mama too much.
Right.
I'm just saying, you tend to treat people, I'm trying to figure out, would he want the legislature to treat his mother the same way our legislature are teaching our teachers right now?
Yeah, we can get in the weeds if you want about how they say they're giving more money in some places, but it's inequitable. Right?
Absolutely. We know that
they're stealing
private,
they're stealing from the kids that need it most, and that's one reason I'm so passionate about Beech Grove High School. We're at above 80% free and reduced lunch.
Wow.
And that's why this year I started as the work-based learning teacher, getting kids that perhaps aren't college-bound ready for the workforce, because all those high-paying leadership jobs, they need to lead somebody, and they need to lead somebody competent.
Absolutely.
So that's my passion, and that's why I'm here. I did political reporting for years. My very first job in and then out of college was Columbus, Indiana, where I grew up.
Hey, Columbus. Bartholomew County.
Yeah.
What's up, Kate?
Was to go for QMix 107.3 to the city council meetings and report. So the passion for the Fourth Estate began there, and then now I'm tired of writing news. I'm ready to make it. Right?
That's what's up. Yeah. Make that news. Angel, did you get a chance to check it out?
I checked out the reading the after report, and I'm pretty disappointed in the response that we need to wait until 2021. There were bills proposed. Yeah. There are ways to do something now.
Yes.
And, teachers had to go and march in a rally that is
Big.
Historic proportion
Big.
for us. So if you didn't hear that, if you can't take some immediate action, I think you're being tone deaf.
Oh, he's completely tone deaf.
Yeah.
Angela, tell the people who you are, where you come from.
So I am a lifelong Hoosier.
Hey.
Yeah, I've been here my whole life. The state's been good to me, and I want everybody else to have the opportunity to have that kind of life too. So I've lived in Indiana my whole life, lived in District 93, which is the southwest side of Indy.
Okay.
Includes Perry Township and some of White River Township.
Okay.
I've lived there for over 20 years. Raised my kids there. My kids go to public schools. They go to Center Grove High School and one of the other, the Center Grove Middle School. I moved to that district because of the schools. So schools mean a lot to me. I know that education is an enabler in life, and I wanted to do what I could for my kids so that they can have the best chance they can have.
Absolutely.
So that was a big part of why we moved to the house we're living in now, is for the schools, for them to get that education. And I believe in public education, and that but it shouldn't be just that my kids get a great education because we're able to live in the district where we live.
See, and that's the thing, and it drives me insane. I mean, I literally. Last year I had locks. I don't have them anymore because I pulled them all out because I cannot understand for the life of me why we as Americans and we as Hoosiers have to move around and try to find a quality school. I'm sorry. I don't understand why every school can't be a quality school. Somebody please help me understand that.
And I think that's what we need. We need a state education strategy.
Yeah.
We don't need to be having these one-off conversations about this school or that school. That's not the conversation we should be having. We should be having a conversation at a level where we're addressing our overall plan for education in Indiana. And that's one of the things we have in our Indiana Constitution a guarantee of public education. And it says
they should have put quality in there.
Oh, exactly. It says an adequate.
Adequate. Okay, so what is adequate?
Well, that's BS. We don't need adequate. We need excellence in education.
Right. Absolutely.
It's a foundational issue. It's a foundation for our future, not just for our kids, but for us when we're still here. And I want my kids to stay here. So I want to be able to see them have kids of their own and be a part of their lives.
Because Indiana really is a cool. Listen,
so that's part of why I'm running.
Absolutely,
I want Indiana to be a place they are willing to stay.
Well, that's jobs, right?
Right.
What better way to attract big business than to have a state that is invested in education?
Yes.
Because if I'm an employer and I'm going to tell a business that we're moving someplace, it's going to be attractive if they have the best schools in the region.
Absolutely.
And the best public schools in the region, for that matter.
So let's
and if you want to bring talent into the state, you want to bring talent into the state. You want young talent. They have families. They have young families.
Exactly.
They're looking at the schools. They go to start looking at houses. What are the one? They're looking at what's the school district like.
Exactly. And we should say it doesn't matter where you go, no matter what district you live in, you're going to get a quality education. Your child is going to have a quality and be ready for whatever that post-secondary education is, whether it's in trades, whether it's 2-year, 4-year, they're going to be ready. And right now, unfortunately, a lot of our students aren't. And one of the things I found interesting, I'm about to switch gears real quick, like it's going to be a hard left. He actually had the audacity to say in his State of the State speech last night that Indiana welcomes all. Wait, I'm gonna repeat it because I thought it was kind of funny when he said it. He said Indiana welcomes all, but yet we have a General Assembly that doesn't even understand what a comprehensive hate crimes legislation looks like. Yep. What do you say to Governor Holcomb, who obviously does not have the sway over his legislators that he seems to think he has, when he says in our State of the State that Indiana welcomes all, and we still have to, Senator J.D. Ford had to file a bill, Senator Lannon had to file a bill to say, hey, when you come out and you get married, you don't lose your job and you don't lose your housing. Right. And if it's a hate crimes, it's a real hate crimes, whether or not age, gender, and gender identity are a part of that. How do you address, the governor? What would you say to the people who heard that and said, well, he said we welcome all. Well, get in it. Let's go.
Well, that's part of the 4 E's that I'm running on: education, employment, environment, and equality for all. And equality for all is really important to me personally because my children are from Guatemala. And so they're brown. And so, it hits home when your kid is coming home facing some of those issues. It gives you a new perspective.
Sure.
And I think that one of the things that Governor Holcomb could do is go get himself some education. Go get himself some education about diversity. There's training. One of the parts of my job at Eli Lilly was being a diversity champion, and I built courses to teach employees and their bosses to understand their own biases and be able to talk about them, that it didn't impair the employee being able to get up to speed in their job quickly.
Right.
Those kinds of trainings are available. I think some of our legislators and our government leadership needs to go to
some of those classes.
Sure.
Talk about it.
So, I run on all education, and it goes back, as you mentioned earlier, it can always go back to schools. Look, the criminal justice system is broken, and it's rigged against people of color.
Come on.
I think we need to say it out loud to address it. I mean, it is.
And you get no argument from me.
And here's where it perpetuates. The kids of those people that are being prosecuted and put in jail for no good reason then suffer adverse childhood experiences, and we can talk about my master's degree and stuff and that, but adverse childhood experiences, and that perpetuates the cycle of poverty. It hurts their chances at success. So it is systemic, it's a problem, and it's something that is going to be a generational fix, and that's why I'm running on a generational fix platform for this reason. It's not going to happen overnight.
Absolutely.
I mean, but we have to address it, and we have to say, it's got to stop now. And the way society changes is through legislation. That is the
policy, baby.
Policy is the way things actually change.
Absolutely.
And so that is why we need to address it. J.D. Ford's a champion.
We already know.
Love that guy. He's been super good to me personally.
Is he not good to anyone? This man is amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to J.D. Ford.
JD.
Love fest happening for you, baby.
I owe him a call, actually. Sorry, I'll get you But like I said, we have to address it. We can't keep operating in a world where we say it's not a thing.
Right. It is a thing. It's a serious thing.
It's a real, happening, everyday thing.
Well, and if Governor Holcomb wanted a little evidence of why it's a thing, he can go read about us.
Well, no, see, now, he ain't got time for that.
It's not, you really must be tone deaf if you're not reading what other people think.
Absolutely. Well, they don't care about what other people think.
I agree with you that policy can help change the environment, and I think the other thing that can help change the environment is, real people have to have real conversations about it. I don't think people have been trained to have conversations about it.
Well, absolutely.
And we need to learn. And no, you won't always get it right, and you'll say stupid stuff, and that's okay. You want somebody to call you out and educate you and say, that was really dumb.
Well, but even some of our white liberals get in their feelings when it comes to social justice issues, when it comes to either people of color or if you're talking about sexuality issues. They have a tendency to get in their feelings. I mean, how do we... Listen, there are going to be things in life that make you uncomfortable, right? Relish the uncomfortableness and figure out what is making you uncomfortable. And then once you figure out what's making you uncomfortable, then you can really resolve the problem. It's like being an alcoholic. You have to actually admit that you're an alcoholic first. Don't just, tout that you're for social justice or you're for, marginalized communities, but you feel uncomfortable in marginalized communities. That ain't gonna work, liberals. I just want to throw that out there.
You're absolutely right.
I just want to throw that out there. So, okay, so you guys are you. What was the catalyst? Like, you're out here, you teacher, you're hearing your thing. You have a mixed family, and those things are important. But what was the catalyst, right? That said, I'm doing this because change has to happen now, and I'm gonna be a part of the change.
So, I'm in 2020 now. I've had an eye on politics. I went to the blue bench training in January of last year.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You kind of have an eye, and you want to. But I'm running right now because education. It's time. We cannot wait for 4 more years, 2 more years, whatever the case may be. We have to go now, and I'm not alone. Right? You see teachers running everywhere, but I hope that the Democratic Party takes us seriously because we are prepared.
Oh, we are. Trust, no, and believe that.
Right? And we are ready to actually get in there and do the job. And so, I want to say to Democrats watching, I think we need to take the opportunity to jump on this red wave, right? Because, look, if you're going to flip seats, the best way to do it is to have the topic at hand and own it.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. I agree.
You have to have what is present, and you have to run in a new, different way. And I like to think that I'm offering that. And I like to think other teachers that are running are offering that as well.
Absolutely. So what was the catalyst for you?
So for me, and I agree with you that fresh perspective is what we need.
Yeah.
I am an outsider to politics. I was pretty apathetic toward politics myself prior to 2016. And it was a wake-up call for me, a very strong one. And I've always told my kids and other people that I've mentored that if you have a concern about something, you don't like something, you need to go learn about it. You need to engage in it. You need to identify a way you can impact it, and then do it. And so this was, I have been getting engaged since 2016. I signed up and started getting engaged locally in the Johnson County area. I became a PC,
Nice.
started doing those things. And then I found out that the representative I actually was going to go join somebody else's campaign to help them because I wanted to learn about the campaign. Then I found out the person in my district that this is a district where the incumbent who'd been there for many years stepped down and he moved away.
Yay!
And,
Aww.
And so the current incumbent was caucused in the summer. So for a Democrat in Johnson County, this is the time.
Okay.
And so I have been, getting engaged, seeing what I can see, and trying to get involved in redistricting, things that were, the meat and potatoes issues. And so, if not me, who? Somebody's got to stand up and go and, make them be accountable. They're not going to slide into this seat with nobody standing up to give them a challenge. So, and I have a group of women behind me, Candidate Network, called 25.
It's the decade of the woman.
Yes.
Y'all can have that year of the woman mess.
Yeah.
I'm even going to say the century of the woman. Because, look, all them other centuries, the dudes was running things. It's just,
This is our
it's
time.
just time. It's
It
just
is
time.
our time. I
It is
have
our
a
time.
group called 25 Women for 2020, and we are a candidate network of women who are all running, who are going up against seated Republicans, and we're doing it. We are helping each other. We're working together. I mean, we know we're better together.
I saw you guys at the state.
I saw the picture.
We're looking good.
I just love the fact that you guys are emasculating the hell out of those dudes. I mean, these guys are like, what, you mean we can't restrict a woman's body with all these women in here? I'm telling you. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I had a question and I just lost my train of thought. Doggone it. I know what it was. Go ahead.
I wanted to say I like what you said about fresh blood. It reminds me of the book titled "You Can't Dismantle the Master's House with the Master's Tools." So as Democrats, I think we need a new thought process.
We need fresh perspective.
Right? We need fresh things because if we keep playing the way that we've been playing in the past, it's just going to end up the supermajority for 10 more years. That's why it's so important in 2020.
So, okay, wait. Before we go any further, I got to write this other one down so I don't forget. Incumbents. You both have Republican incumbents. But before you go there, I hear a lot of people talking about we have to change the way that we are doing things and we need to do things differently. But one of the things I wait for in that conversation is, what do you want to do differently?
Sure. I think we don't, as candidates, we need to be a little younger and we need to be a little more digitally savvy. So I think what you're doing here is great. But I think we need to be in a studio funded by the party that broadcasts over the air.
I don't mind.
Right. No, that's just, right. That's one example.
Right.
You hear all the time, you have to knock on doors, and you do. I'm not saying the traditional ways of doing things should go away.
Right.
I just think there are new and innovative ways that we can do things to add to and be in 2020.
Absolutely.
And connect with voters of old and now young, right? We have to think about most of the Democratic voters are younger or very old.
Right.
And so we need to...
Because y'all forget about us Gen Xers.
But we need...
Do you see how they did that? Okay.
But we need to really think about how we're going to get... Again, you have to think generationally, right? Because these young voters we need to capture now and we need to keep them for decades so that in 30 years, 40 years, we're the supermajority.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think we need to stop always thinking this is the only way you can do it. One of the things I want to do when I'm elected, I want to engage with the constituents. I went to the town hall, the third house meeting, the last for this session with my legislators. It was lame, and there were very few people that knew about it.
Yeah.
And then you get very low attendance. And they say, well, this is the way it is. Nobody really cares. And no, you didn't do the work ahead of time to go engage people, to invite people, to tell them why they should come. People have a million things going on in their lives. We need to help them know how to be engaged and tell them we're not going to waste their time.
I mean, I knew about J.D. Ford's town hall, and I don't even live in his district.
Right.
I knew about it. I mean, I know about town halls all over.
And he's doing things differently,
yeah,
right? But he took the old, when he won, he knocked on more doors than anybody I've ever heard of in my entire life. So it's not to say that the old way of doing things aren't.
Right,
and by the way, District 30, I'll be knocking on doors this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know what I mean?
Let them know.
But there's some other things, right? I mean, we have technology today that can ping somebody's cell phone if they're in a certain area or certain district or they like a certain thing. And I think as a party, we need to capitalize on these things because the Republicans are probably thinking the same thing. So we need to get ahead of them.
I agree with you on technology. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this particular show. And Harold H.B. Jumbo Love Bell gave me the first opportunity to do an internet radio show with him. And then I was like, okay, how can I secure this? And so I learned how to do this thing because the digital age is here to stay.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. Now, do I have all the viewership that I really want? Absolutely not. Have I reached every county in the state of Indiana? Not yet. But we're going to get there. And I like his ideas of having a fully funded studio. I think that's an amazing idea. If you like that idea, you should let everybody know in the party. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Well, I think that's part of what we do need to do is have these networks across the state.
Absolutely.
The candidate network that we're working on, it's across the state.
Absolutely.
And that kind of outreach, we got to get better at it because we can, because the technology is available.
Yeah.
We don't need to sit and say,
you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. I mean, I have a full-fledged studio in my condo, and yes, it costs a little change, and it's not perfect, and I don't have the $2,500 camera. But it's a way to make it happen, and we can do the things that you guys are talking about without using a lot of monetary resources. It just takes a little elbow grease sometimes.
I mean, we're the party, and the reason I'm sticking in my current race is because it's the message. Okay. It's the message over money. Like, look, if you want to run on money, we know which party. Blue or red does that, right?
Senator Eddie Melton talked about that when he had to drop out of the governor's race last week. Or he talked about, and he had a decent following up and down the state. I was in New Albany and had a chance to talk to a deputy chair down there of the state party, and he talked about how he had literally had his popularity and his message had crossed the border. He was, he had people outside of Indiana that liked his message. And it's a shame, you have to be almost self-funded or, you have to give your soul to a corporate structure to actually serve the people, which is, don't get me on my soapbox.
Same soapbox. Truthfully.
I mean, I think that's one of the disappointing things for me is the money that's required.
Yeah.
I mean,
United,
I didn't get in this to make money. I got in this because I saw an opportunity to make a difference, and I wanted to take that opportunity. But it's quite daunting to be able to learn to, be a political outsider and understand how to do the campaign fundraising. And I just don't have a lot of rich relatives to go.
Honey, I don't either.
Right. I think we need those people in office, right? Because they represent us.
Right.
The real people. The people that don't have that network that's built in of giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars. We need the people that operate like us. Feel the
and don't mind going knocking on doors and doing the dirty work. I remember there was a candidate who was running for council last year, and I asked him, I said, are you out knocking doors? I ran into him, and he was like, well, I'm from what I understand, the contact rate is low, and people were saying maybe I should. I said, no. I don't care what anybody else is telling you. If you don't go knock in your neighborhood, somebody's going to think that you don't want to knock in their neighborhood or you're afraid to knock in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
You need to go to the area that you want to represent. When I was running for office, and I know this was 4 years ago, I knew that I had to go in McCordsville. I had to go in Fortville. I had to go in Fishers, even though I knew I was not going to be as welcome in those areas as I would if I was knocking doors in the Loop. It's somewhere in Marion County.
Right.
You have to go and make that constituency connection, because otherwise they'll think you just another, mouthpiece.
And if you're going to represent a district, you need to have your foot on the ground all over the place. You need to know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like.
Absolutely.
Right.
Everything. So now, you guys are both running. So say you get past your primary, right? You both have primary opponents. You get past your primary, you're in the general election.
Yeah.
You both are running in incredibly difficult, well, I ain't gonna say your district is as tough as, but it's winnable. After 2019, we know Senate District 30 can be flipped.
I got a good strategy.
Yeah. But you guys are running in Republican-held districts, incumbent Republican-held districts.
Sure.
They're tough. Why aren't you daunted by that?
Hey, look, the incumbent Republican is a nice guy. That's what you keep hearing, right?
Well,
nice guy.
And actually, yes. And what's crazy is he is the one guy that is willing to cross the aisle.
Right.
And he's got a story.
You think until you look at the voting record.
Hello, because
really.
they always stick with.
And this is why I'm staying in the race, because I think I offer the best message against his current government.
Okay.
Like his voting record. Look, he took $52,000 of money donated to his campaign from a group that ISTA has identified as opposite of their views.
Wow.
They are for public schools. We are for public schools.
Public schools.
This group is for privatizing schools.
Wow.
$52,000 is public record. But I don't think there's anybody better than I am as a teacher, a public school teacher. I went to public school my whole life to capitalize on that message. Because look, to flip a seat, you have to have a simple, new, and present, relevant message. And so that's why I'm in it.
Okay, why aren't you daunted? Because, listen, you got Johnson County. When you look at the 2019 municipal races, Indianapolis or the donut counties, we did really well as Democrats everywhere but where you live. so why aren't you daunted?
I won't say I'm not daunted.
Okay.
I will say that, it looks like it's challenge, but I'm motivated by challenge. And I have a group of connections. I know that there are people in Johnson County that believe like I do. We've all been in this private Facebook group together since 2016.
Okay.
And I have learned through that group and then that led into other connections, and more connections. There is more blue there than anyone realizes. Okay. And we need to make it okay to be a Democrat. And we need to show up and be a Democrat. I worked the polls. That was part of my political engagement after 2016.
Yeah.
I worked the polls after 2016 because, damn it, we have a democracy, and it needs Democrats at the polls to run the polls.
Yes.
So there were people who, when we were working the primary, and you ask them what ballot they wanted, and they had to whisper that they wanted a Democrat ballot.
What?
And I went back to the party meeting, and I said, we need to stop that.
Yes.
We need to be proud that we're Democrats. What we stand for matters.
Fresh vote can help that.
And that can matter. So when I hope that even if I'm going to win, but if I don't win, I hope that being on the ballot makes a difference for people being Democrats and standing up for the policies that we believe in as Democrats.
Absolutely. See, I've had that conversations in many counties throughout the state because they're afraid, and I've heard them say, I am afraid to be a Democrat in the community that I live in. Dog, I'm a cross-dressing lesbian that travels all over the state of Indiana. If I ain't scared, I'm going to need y'all Democrats to stand up in the community that you live in and be Democrats.
And I think we do that with a clear, clean message maybe not education, but for us, look, education. because parents who may be traditionally conservative can get on board quickly and easily and say,
Yes.
I care about my kids' public education.
Mm-hmm,
To now it's okay.
And
now it's
we
good
need
to go with blue.
And we can, all come together. There are center of the room issues that we can all come together
Oh my
on.
God, yes.
We don't have to go to the walls and talk
Right.
about
Oh
the
my
far
God.
left and far right. What about that we all have one planet? And when we
Right.
are...
You saying the environment, the one that
Yeah.
we need to
that
survive?
we all have to survive. I mean, I live in Johnson County.
Yeah.
I got Martinsville on one side,
Mm-hmm.
super fun site.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Franklin on the other side, cancer cluster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need to look at this as real stuff here. We can't keep looking the other way and say, not me, it doesn't affect me. No, it's right here. It's right here.
And when you talk about those environmental issues, I'm going to segue. Those environmental issues directly lead to health issues, healthcare
Absolutely.
issues. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about, affordable healthcare, affordable insurance, ACA, prescription drugs. There's this thing that a lot of people, especially on our side of the aisle, don't want to talk about, and that's states' rights.
Mm-hmm.
Every state, California right now, and I know California is Blue Haven, I get it. But California right now and the governor is going to sign a bill that says drug companies have to negotiate directly with California, and you're going to supply them with a specific type of drug. What are your thoughts on making it so that Indiana negotiates its drugs for our citizens, especially since we have Eli Lilly and Roche in our midst?
I think it's necessary. I think it's a great thing. And I think it would save money for people. And we tie it back to jobs, right?
Hello.
The businesses want to have that benefit because their employees want to have that benefit. I think it's only a good thing. I'm all for universal health care, and I'm all for, at the state level, doing everything we can for equitable cost across the board.
Come on. Talk about it.
Yeah, I think having worked at Eli Lilly, I worked there for 20 years. I worked in the clinical trial process. I understand how you can talk about the high price of pharmaceuticals because I know what was required behind the scenes to develop that product.
But do you think we could
So
save some
I
money
think
if we
we
weren't
can-
advertising for it?
So much, right?
I think we can save money. I think that the place to save the money is actually in the insurance middleman kind of part.
Okay. Talk about it.
I think we really need to build in more transparency in the process, and we need to disconnect the employer from your insurance. When I was working at Eli Lilly and Company, one of the things I was really frustrated by were people that were working there in my team who didn't want to be there. And because they didn't want to be there, they didn't work hard enough. And that was very frustrating because we had great opportunities, and I was all about the opportunity. But they didn't want to leave because they didn't want to lose their insurance.
Right.
Well,
So
we need to decouple that.
Right.
Insurance, you should
more.
not be staying in a job that you hate because of your insurance.
Huh.
On top of that, I'll say the spousal carve-out is something that is in my policy, is where if you are married and your spouse has the same coverage that you have, you're not allowed to go together.
Which is ridiculous, I think. I mean, it just makes it cost more.
The
That's
complexities
interesting.
of insurance right now
Well,
are
and
incredible.
I am all for affordable health care. I have never really been a fan of affordable insurance. I mean, when you think,
I want universal health care so that you decouple
a single
these
payer,
things,
all that.
single payer,
Yes.
so that you decouple that, and then I want you to open the door on what's happening behind the scenes with the negotiations with the insurance
But we
companies.
already know that when things are created at the federal level, our state house can either accept or reject.
Correct. That's
right. We saw that all across the country where the
we
ACA.
know that Curtis Hill is wasting money right now fighting the ACA, trying to take health care away
the handsy Elvis impersonator. Oh,
Yes.
that dude. We got a couple of great people that are going to be running against him. So I'm just want y'all to know. Senator Tallien and former Mayor Weinzappel are both trying to get that nomination so we can unseat that fella. But he's trying. He spent a boatload of Hoosier dollars to basically say the ACA is unconstitutional. And this is the part that I will never understand. How do you live with yourself saying, I don't want someone to be able to properly fund and take care of their family? How do you live with yourself with that?
I don't think you can. I don't know. Because I can't imagine it.
I think some people come from a scarcity mindset.
Scarcity
And so
mindset.
they think...
The ones with all the abundance, yeah.
Yes. They think there's not enough to go around. And so they got to hold tight to what they have. And so if I give you some, then there's not going to be enough for me. And I think that's something we have to break culturally around.
Absolutely.
There is an abundance. There is more than enough for everyone. And you don't have to hold.
The only way to do it is through education.
Because
even in even in a district like Beech Grove, right? Mayor Buckley, shout out, is a Democrat.
Yes, he is.
But
and he's a nice man too.
He's great. I love him. But it was a close race with a Republican. Even though that district suffers from poverty, they have that mindset. And so through education, we teach them that a universal single-payer healthcare system will save you money. And the tax rate that they're talking about going up, you won't see it. Nobody you know will see the tax rate go up. Then it becomes, and that's we go back to how we get the message out. How do we do it a little differently? That's how.
Absolutely. We desperately need to educate our citizenry on what the citizen government is all about. Unfortunately, with the way, funding cuts are happening in our schools, that, it's all about teaching kids to regurgitate information versus how to disseminate information.
Oh, that exists. Don't get me started.
Which and it's unfortunate.
Or how to think.
And here's the killer part. The people who are making decisions, right? Do they not know that the United States is falling behind every other, industrialized, digitized, monetized nation on the planet? We're falling behind desperately in education, in healthcare, in infrastructure, which is why the Russians are able to fool some of y'all all of the time. I mean, because you can't disseminate information. Yeah. So what do we have to do to get these folks to understand? Listen, I'm looking out for you. Don't let guns, God, and gays prevent you from understanding what's really impacting your life.
We have to simplify the message. I spent a decade taking complex information and turning it into 30-second news stories, right? Because it has to be easily digested. Look, admittedly, I think we can admit the Republicans have, over the past few years, done a great job of simplifying their message. And that's why I'm here. Because I'm ready to simplify the message and get Democrats that leg up.
And see, I
agree we need to simplify it. But, I think we also have to wake people up that you have to take some time. Yeah. So, we do have to create a little... We do have to simplify
the 30-minute second bite.
But we also have to remember people are smart. People really are. If we give them credit and we demand that they take the effort to learn, figure out how this is impacting you, and we can help them. I totally agree we need to do that. But I think we also have to encourage accountability and that it is your responsibility to be informed. We lived in a time, and I was part of it, I was apathetic toward politics. It'll be all right. It's a good system there. People are working it. They do their jobs. As long as they're all doing their jobs, it's okay. I think we have to wake people up to the fact that not everybody's doing their jobs. And so we do have to take a little more, look a little deeper dive and pay attention.
Because I agree that there's always the need for the elevator speech. I am very comfortable with that notion. But I also believe that complex issues require complex answers. And sometimes just a simple answer doesn't actually address the real problem. And we should be expecting more from our thinking humans, instead of suggesting that we have to spoon feed you something so incredibly simplistic about really complex issues. Don't get me wrong. I need to be able to capture you, right? I gotta be able to get you.
In first.
I gotta get
That's
you.
What I'm saying.
But after I've got you, I've got to be able to break down that real stuff. And what happens is Republicans give them the soundbite and then leave.
Right.
They don't stay, and it's killer to me because it's not something that I am saying because I am, on the left side of things. This is real talk. They are passing policies. They are literally passing policies at all level of government that are harming the humans that inhabit this state.
Yeah, and that's why we got to get the message out to people and say, you got to care about not only yourself, but your neighbor. What happened to that?
Oh my God! What no one. Oh, man,
Right?
Our neighbor.
And remind them that part of the government's job is stewarding our shared resources.
Absolutely.
That's what we want you to do as a
Stewarding our
government.
shared resources. And we want businesses to be successful because we want to make sure that we have jobs for people.
Right.
Absolutely.
But we also want them to fairly contribute to the communities that they live in because
Right.
I'm sorry, the 2019 Prius isn't putting big old chuck holes in my highways and on my side streets. It's big old semi trucks that are transporting goods and services that are destroying my infrastructure. It's
For
not
sure.
the Prius. It's
sure.
not even my pickup truck. So I need you to contribute to the community that you say you want your people to be in. I'm just saying.
And don't
Agree.
leave behind toxic waste.
Hello? And if
we
you do,
are
clean it up.
And clean it up. We are the coal ash pond capital.
Oh, say it again.
That is not, one of the things I've been saying as I started my campaign is that, and because the education thing is top of mind, we need to improve our report card in Indiana.
Absolutely.
And environmentally,
Absolutely.
we have an F.
Oh God, yes. And when I hear the governor, just kind of glossing over that, and glossing over infrastructure, and making it seem like he's got these grand ideas that he can't influence a fleet to fix, it's disturbing.
Yeah.
And so in order for us to accomplish even what his goals are, we're going to have to change that state house. And it starts with you, too. All right. So I love it. This was an amazing conversation, by the way, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those, this is when you know the person that you're talking to, is knowledgeable about the issues, and they actually give a damn about them. It's one thing to be knowledgeable and not care, but I can see just in the interaction the three of us have had today, how passionate you are about serving the communities. You wish you had a whole lot of money, because who don't? Who don't?
That's right.
I wish I had my money. But the bottom line is you want to look out for everyday working Hoosiers, the working class. All right, so tell the people where they can find you.
HoosiersPicnic.com.
HoosiersPicnic.com.
Yeah. Hashtag Teachers Picnic. Hashtag Hoosiers Picnic.
Facebook, social media, all of that.
All of
Okay, you got a fundraiser coming up?
Yeah, 25th, right after the Blue Bench training.
Okay,
we'll have
okay.
an event at Binkley's is the place right now in College in Hessler.
Okay.
And we'll be having a nice social that night, and students are invited. Teachers
Hey,
are
young
invited.
people.
Hey, look, I did my first event at 16-Bit Arcade Bar.
Okay.
And I got so much flack from my kids because they said,
couldn't
Mr.
come.
White, I want to go.
Yeah.
So I said, I promise I'll put it at a place that you can come next time.
That's
So
what's up, because these young,
they
if
are
Shelley
engaged.
if Shelley Fitzgerald hasn't taught us anything after what she went through at Ron Colley, and her students rallied and created an organization called Shelley's Voice to bring awareness to what was going on. If you don't recognize the importance of getting these young people involved and giving them the knowledge base and the heart and soul of what it takes to be community oriented, you're missing out. So you should
if their volunteer time was in kind on the sheet, I'd be a millionaire.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Angela, where can the people find you?
ElliottForIndiana.com.
Okay, social media?
Yep, Angela Elliott for Indiana on Facebook.
Okay.
And my Act Blue link is right there. And
Excellent.
At the top of my page. I'm looking for, right now, I need to fund my voter file access.
Okay.
And so,
yes, Van.
I need to fund Van. I have to buy it myself. I'm not going to get it from the party. So I need to fund that. So if you want to donate to help me get out and reach voters directly, then I would love to have a donation through Act Blue. The link's right there, both on my website and on my Facebook page.
Okay, and I heard you said you were going to go canvassing.
That's right.
Tell them when.
Hey, this weekend we're going to start Friday after school.
Okay.
That's not. Yeah. Friday after school, we're gonna go Saturday. I'm probably gonna stop by the Blue Bench training, but I'm not. I've kind of been there, so I'm gonna go canvas more. I think that's more accurate for me right now with February 8th right around the corner. And
excellent.
And then Sunday, and then 3-4 more days after that, depending on how many you get.
Okay.
So it's I'm ready. Boots on the ground. Just ordered a new pair of shoes. Let's do it.
All right. And what about any canvassing happening for you?
Yeah, I'll definitely be canvassing.
Okay.
Definitely be canvassing.
All right. Give me your quick elevator speech on why they should support you. Go.
If you care about students, teachers, if you're a parent or a grandparent, and you're fed up with the education funding system in our state, I'm your candidate. There's no better message than to send a teacher into that room and to tell the Republicans time's up.
That's what's up. What you got?
I am the candidate to stand up for education. Employment means jobs, environment for all of us, and equality for all. I've got professional background, 20 years at Eli Lilly working in IT. I want to take that professional skill set and use it in the State House. I want to make a difference for my kids and for all Hoosiers so we can have, we can all be happy here and thrive.
That's what's up. Thank y'all so much for joining us on Turn Left. Listen, I'm passionate because and people know I'm slightly disturbed with my passion for helping Hoosiers. But I felt like today that I had my kindred spirits in the room.
Yeah.
I felt like today that if I were no longer here doing the work, there are a couple of people who will pick up the mantle and run with it with all your gusto, and I really appreciate the effort you guys are putting in. I appreciate that you took time to learn the process, learn the issues, and learn your community. That is so amazing, and thank you for getting yourselves on the ballot.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. This is what we do on Turn Left every Thursday. We're talking to candidates who want to represent you. We're bringing you the information. You find them. Normally I tag, but for some reason these two I couldn't tag. But
I noticed that.
Yeah, I normally I tag.
We've been working on it.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
But it doesn't matter. It does not matter because what'll happen is they're gonna chime in at some point during the feed. You'll be able to find them, but you can always Google because Google is your friend. Find these two candidates. Find them because they're going to need your help. They're new. They're fresh. They don't have the exquisite network of wealthy people. They need each one of us. See, it's cool to get one person to donate $1 million, but how much cooler is it to get 1 million people to donate $1? That's what we are working on when we talk about who we are as Democrats. We are about the people, right? Yeah. We are out here trying to change lives for the better. And we talked about teachers and all of that. I had a chance to talk to the party chair and the executive director last week. We had a little tete-a-tete. Well, not a tete-a-tete. We had more like a great conversation. And the ED asked me, she says, we see these rallies with teachers, but I haven't seen a lot of teachers of color. Where are the teachers of color? This is what our executive director at the party was asking. So if y'all don't think the party and our leadership does not care about people of color, y'all smoking. I'm just saying. But I want to tell you guys about an event that's happening at 7 p.m. I am going to attend. I don't know how many people are already signed up to do it, but it's called Loud and Proud Education, and I just closed it out. That was not very smart. Loud and Proud Education Leaders of Color. I am going to go drop in on their event. They probably don't even know I'm coming. It's going to be on Saturday at 7 p.m. at Tease Me. At 140 East 22nd Street. They don't even know that I'm like sharing this information, and they're probably gonna be mad that I did, because the bottom line is, unfortunately, anything that's negatively impacting one particular group of individuals in Indiana, it is negatively impacting people of color that much more. So I need to go and sit down and listen with these teachers and find out what they're seeing, what they'd like to see have happen, and make sure that their voices are being heard. So guys, this is what we do at Turn Left. This is why we have this show, because we want to make certain that you, as the voter, as the constituent, as someone who has a bone up your behind because somebody ain't doing something you need them to do, we're bringing these folks to you every week. I got people coming from all over the state coming to talk to you about why they are running in 2020, and we are going to do everything that we possibly can to flip seats in all 100, well, not all 100, because we still have, 30? So all 70 seats.
Yeah, there you go.
70 seats, and then however many Senate seats. I know there's only 25 that are up, but I'm not real sure, And we want to just, because we don't have enough. And more women, and more women. Yeah. I'm just saying, it'll all be better for everybody when we get more women. Y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us this week. I got a full slate all the way out till April. I'm bringing you more people every week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch y'all next week.